said recently that Donald Trump would make a great president. Of course, he said the same thing about an old rusty birdcage he found. Donald Trump owns the Miss USA pageant, which is great for Republicans because it will streamline their search for a vice president.
Having Seth Meyers around makes it seem like the ex-president will never be able to escape criticism. And in this instance, some pretty funny criticisms.
Now you, on the other hand, Mr. President, have aged a little. What happened to you? When you were sworn in, you looked like the guy from the Old Spice commercials. Now you look like Louis Gossett Sr.
We will never forget the iconic stunt he pulled with then-President Obama on Trump even before he became president, and he appears to have gotten even better at it since then.
Praised Melania to Trump regarding Stormy Daniels' fallout. Trump said, "Don't worry, how long do you think I'll be on the market for? Not long." Cohen says Trump wasn't thinking about Melania. This was all about the campaign. It's
Given how much of the news has been centered on Trump's hush money case and its legal development, it seemed unlikely that the ever-comedic gentleman would avoid getting involved as well.
If he ended up getting divorced for a third time after an affair with a porn star, he'd crush it on the dating scene. What would his Tinder bio said? Love hot dogs, hate Springsteen, will definitely cheat.
If we can bring ourselves to remember this part of the case, we can only be more irritated for the former president over the potential veracity of Cohen's testimony. And Meyers shares his delightful, honest opinion on how entirely wrong he finds the president to be.
Facing allegations that he defrauded voters by covering up a hush money payment to a porn star he had an affair with just months after his wife gave birth. And I say that knowing full well that while that's a bad time to sleep with a porn star, there's also no good time in a marriage to sleep with a porn star. Like, it's not like you'd be like, "Oh, look at us, both kids off to college, a couple of empty nesters. What are we gonna do next, honey?" Well, there is one.
The further jab at his problematic relationship with the popular porn star Stormy Daniels would be much more of a slur on the former president's personality and romantic life, which he would not treasure in any manner, especially since his wife had recently given birth at the time.
This has now been put into evidence. And Necklace asked, that was referring to Trump. Daniels, it doesn't say that, so it's up to your interpretation. Daniels, I'm also not a toilet. She goes on to say, if someone can make fun of me, I can make fun of them. Necklace, what did you mean when you said orange turd? Daniels, oh, I absolutely meant Mr. Trump. Necklace, then why didn't you say that a minute ago?
Because I thought it was obvious. When Trump's lawyer started asking that, I'm surprised Trump didn't jump in and say, "Oh, me, she was talking about me, everyone knows."
Not to mention that the former president had to put up with demeaning testimony about him from Stormy Daniels. But Seth's humorous persona always adds more hurt to the president's already problematic love life.
During her cross-examination today, one of Trump's lawyers asked Stormy Daniels, quote, "You made all this up, right?" A strategy that immediately backfired when Trump yelled, "No, she didn't. We had sex." We had sex. We did have sex. You shouldn't say that? Okay.
It's hard to fathom why Trump would even try to sink his teeth into this, but it's clear he's frantic to avoid the distaste that Stormy Daniels and other women would feel if they claimed any kind of connection to the former president.
Said that in phone calls after a sexual encounter with Trump in 2006, he would always call her Honey Bunch. Honey Bunch. And you guys think Biden is too old.
This presents an even worse picture of Trump's alleged disastrous love life. Having to call someone who isn't his wife and continuing to hit on her after they've already had a sexual encounter, and Meyers does a fantastic job of capturing it. Only time will tell how Melania feels about it all, and who knows if they'll end up divorcing in the end.
Michael Cohen testified today that former President Trump once said he wouldn't be single for very long if former First Lady Melania Trump were to leave him. So yeah, he wrote his own vow.
Perhaps he's the dictator in his marriage to Melania, about whom there have been growing rumors that she's married to Trump for business purposes rather than any romantic feelings at all. A dictator in marriage? It's no surprise that he wants to be a dictator on day one in our country.
This guy'd be on the market for not long. On the market, you're a 78-year-old psychopath with massive debt. That's not a market. That's a lost and found bin.
Characters like Meyers are drawn to Trump because of his abhorrent remarks like these. And he is completely correct in everything. If Melania leaves him after his scandal involving his gorgeous porn star, he'll probably be deluding himself into believing that anyone better is on the line.
During his testimony today, Cohen also said that he was never paid for early legal work he did for Trump. Of course not. He doesn't pay his lawyers. He doesn't pay his contractors. There's really only one way to get paid by Donald Trump, and it is not a worth it.
Perhaps this is the only way to get paid by a man who has a history of defrauding his employees and staff. And since Melania seems to be headed in the same direction, Seth wouldn't ignore that either.
Vote for Donald Trump, my husband that I married.
You should not have had to look at those.
Seth's portrayal of the former First Lady, who is still married to Trump, and her inability to adjust to life without her billionaire husband makes the whole thing funnier. Trump would be furious to see such a scene.
Hey Donald, it's the tiny voice in your head again. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Because it really seems like your wife doesn't love you. You know why I think that? Because people who are in love do not scowl for all 24 hours of the day. These people taking pictures are gonna crack their iPhone screens with how angry she looks all the time.
Even more evident is Seth's belief that Trump has never had a successful love life, which he constantly pokes fun at theatrically whenever possible. Now that Stormy Daniels is in the picture, losing the November presidential race might be the least of his worries.
Our Vice President, Melania, really wanted to be with us. It's really touched her heart what's gone on, and we've seen the devastation. We're going to see some more of it now, unfortunately.
Seth Meyers may not have seen this scene, but it's a hilarious one because Donald Trump, who didn't even know his alleged wife was there, has actually made more personal jabs at her with it than Seth has ever done.
Have you been hurt, though?
Media what is speculating. Yeah, it's not always pleasant, of course. But I know what is right and what is wrong and what is true and not true.
When Rudy Giuliani came out and said your thoughts about Stormy Daniels' claims and said she believes in her husband, she knows it's not true, is that an accurate statement?
I never talked to Mr. Giuliani.
Why do you think he came out and said that?
I don't know. You need to ask him.
You mentioned you still have a good marriage. Do you love your husband?
Yes, we are fine. Yes, it's what media speculate and it's gossip. It's not always correct stuff.
However, it hurts to witness the misery the former president's wife endures and the length of time she must continue to deceive the public into believing that their marriage is going well despite her husband's frequent and severe sexual scandals. We all know she's been badly hurt by the hush money trial because she hasn't even shown up once, and she doesn't want to face any more humiliation from the press. If they do break up, it will be interesting to see how long the former president can stay on the dating scene.
In the same interview, Trump said that he would be willing to serve jail time after being convicted on 34 felony counts, which would be the first time he shared a bedroom in a while.
Speaking about their waning romance, Seth is brilliant, as this could be a great opportunity for the former president to reconnect and may even try to save his marriage.
According to a new poll, 34% of Republican voters said that they are more likely to vote for former President Trump following his felony conviction. Okay, but that 34% was always going to vote for him. That's like Snoop Dogg saying, I'm really going to smoke weed now.
As you can probably guess from the outset of this video, Seth Meyers isn't a huge fan of Trump.
The Republicans, you guys elevated Marjorie Taylor Greene, so if you're mad at anyone, be mad at yourselves. The guy you all supported for president is her biggest fan. He's repeatedly praised her and shouted her out in rallies.
Oh, and one of my favorite people, oh, she's so smart.
Everything we've witnessed currently, his party, his suggestions, his wild talk, his terrifying talk about running for re-election, and even his romantic life, is something Seth despises.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know, contrary to popular opinion, she's actually very smart. She doesn't get credit for it. Most people think she's dumb as ask around. I tell them they're wrong all the time. I meet people who say to me, her IQ is the same as her shoe size. Not till they say things to me like if her age were the same as her IQ, she wouldn't be old enough to vote.
However, he takes great pleasure in mimicking him in ways that are, in fact, much funnier than those of the former president, whom we all largely regard as being more of an entertainer than a politician.
The Republicans, you guys elevated Marjorie Taylor Greene, so if you're mad at anyone, be mad at yourselves. The guy you all supported for president is her biggest fan. He's repeatedly praised her and shouted her out in rallies.
Oh, and one of my favorite people, oh, she's so smart. I hope she's around. I hope she's around. She is an incredible woman. She's a brilliant woman.
One of his best digs was his public approval of House Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who he hilariously regards at such a high standard.
The form of the resolution is as follows. Declaring the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives to be vacant. This is the uniparty for the American people watching.
I love that she thinks the American people are watching C-SPAN on a Wednesday.
We all know how she's ended up, with just last month trying to oust House Speaker Mike Johnson, where she took in much booze from her fellow Republicans. Her post supporting former President Trump's claims of President Joe Biden attempting an assassination of him lay more emphasis on her being more of his pawn than a real American patriot, there for the benefit of the people.
I'm okay with it. I saw one of my lawyers the other day on television saying, oh no, you don't want to do that to the president. I said, you don't beg for anything. I don't know that the public would stand it, you know. I'm not sure the public would stand for it.
However, it's not the headline today, as the former president claims to care more about his love life than his political ambitions now, and still rants it was his major concern during the hush money trial case, which contradicts Cohen's testimony.
Judge Juan Merchan said today that he will allow former President Trump to attend his son Barron's high school graduation, but he drew the line.
In contempt, I think people, especially the people that matter, independents, moderates, people in the middle, people that are still on the fence about who they're going to vote for, I think anybody can relate to wanting to go to your child's graduation, and it's not like this is a homicide trial. Okay, this is a glorified, error in paperwork.
Some paperwork error there. You've never accidentally forgot to check a box or keep your pants on when a porn star comes to your hotel?
His visit to Barron's high school graduation could help paint an uncertain picture that he has always cared for his family.
I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy.
Are you saying that what you said on that bus 11 years ago, that you did not actually kiss women without consent or grope women without consent?
I have great respect for women. Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
Donald Trump, despite his portrayed or rather pretentious disciplinary character, is, as we've seen recently, a shadow of himself when it comes to relationships with women.
Down below. Pull the hand.
Sorry, what's more pathetic, a major party nominee who talks about women like that, or one who thinks you get out of a bus by knocking on the glass? I guess in the end, Donald Trump is the man to defeat ISIS as long as ISIS isn't on the other side of a door.
With children born of 3 different mothers, and we might not know if those are his only kids, it's quite inferential that the former president's love life is quite messed up.
If you bought Trump stock 2 weeks ago, and shame on you if you did, you lost half your money. But if you hold on just a little bit longer, you might be able to lose all of it. So,
like Kimmel, Seth doesn't flinch to take advantage of situations like this, and we sure won't be getting bored of his comedy anytime soon.
You were president. The whole country has a bias. The only way you're getting a juror who doesn't know you is if it's randomly Tiffany.
The former president can keep throwing tantrums, but nothing would ever actually change, because Seth Meyers isn't going anywhere, and he hasn't thought of doing that at all.
The day he stops giving us stuff to talk about, we will move on to something else. But it's not like we have to, go searching through the corners of the internet to find something crazy he said.
It turned out.
Yeah,
right there.
we just put on CNN and just wait.
He has the right to express himself whatsoever, and whether Donald Trump emerges victorious or not is not really his business. Trump's relationship life is in shambles, and that for sure he's definitely top-notch right about. What do you think about all of this? Stay put, we'll be back as usual. You definitely don't want to miss anything. We're responding immediately to the latest developments regarding the Trump trial. See you in the next video.